Hey, how's it going? How's everybody doing? It's October, Halloween month, and I thought maybe I would go through some of my movie collection and talk about my undetermined number of favorite horror movies of all time. Now, just to clarify, in this collection or in this list, it's not a countdown. It's not a top. It's not in a specific order. It's just talking about some of my favorite movies, with the exception of the first two that I will mention right away, just because they are my two favorite horror movies of all time. Um, don't mind the background; it's late at night, so I decided to do this in the Dungeness kitchen. So that's why there's crap kind of behind me, as opposed to different crap, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, sorry. Um, and this countdown, or whatever you want to call it, is it's going to be talking about more mainstream movies. I do have box set upon box set upon box set of underground films that some of them have heard of, some of them have not. But I'm going to keep this, generally speaking, about movies that most people have heard of, and just tell you which ones are some of my favorites. I'm not going to get into too many details about the movie itself in terms of who's in it, starring in it, and directed it, and all that stuff. It's just going to be a simple this movie kind of thing. And why is this on a weird kind of thing there? Is that better? I don't know. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And if you want to hit that subscribe button, that would be awesome. I would really like that. Creep me a little bit closer to that 1,000. That's because that's all I want. I don't want to. I mean, if I get more, hey, fantastic. But I'm not. I'm not gearing up to get thousands and thousands of subscribers. Just 1,000. That'll make my day. That'll cheer me up. But anyway, talking about the first two, we got Night of the Living Dead. I got so many copies of this movie. I've done a video. If you scroll down and look at some of my earlier videos when I was doing more movie related videos, I talked about every Night of the Living Dead copy that I had at that time, and there was a big collection then. But I've gotten more since then. But it's just something I do. So I see what I don't have, I buy it. So anyway, Night of the Living Dead, George Romero, who created the genre, and he also had his Dead series game, Dawn of the Dead, which is very iconic, Day of the Dead, Survival of the Dead, Diary of the Dead, and I don't know, Dead Go on a Picnic. I can't remember what the last one was called. Um, it'll come to me sometime later on the video, and I'll probably just shout it out. But yeah, I like this movie so much. I actually got one of the characters. It's an iconic image. Probably not here in the box. Oh, actually, it's kind of there on the DVD, and you can hear the cats hissing at each other. Get lost. If you guys are gonna fight, go somewhere else. But the character Karen, played by Kyra Scone or Scone, I'm not exactly sure how to say her name. Don't you jump up. But tattooed on my leg, but I'm not going to move the camera around and show that. But you just have to look her up. Night of Living Dead Girl, or however you want to call it. But there's two other things I want to show here. There's if you've never seen the film before, you want to see it for the first time, I definitely highly recommend it. It's an excellent film, especially for 1968. It was pretty shocking at the time, and I still love the movie today. Stop it. I still love watching the movie today. It's one of the movies I've seen more than any other horror movie, pretty much, except for the next one I'm going to talk about. But if you're going to see one, if you've never seen it before, do not watch the 30th anniversary film. It's a version they've added additional footage for some reason, changed the soundtrack. It's terrible. It's god awful. Now, if you are a fan of the movie and you've never seen it, check it out at least once. I do have a copy of it, of course. But I think I've watched it I know I watched it once and I was like, what the fuck am I watching? And then I think I watched it a second time just to sort of remind myself why I don't ever want to watch it again. But there's also other spin-off movies that other people have done. This one here, I'm just going to show real quick. It's called Mimesis, I think that's how you pronounce it, Night of the Living Dead. And basically, these people go to a horror convention or something to that effect, and end up at a house or something, and they're sort of reenacting Night of the Living Dead, but they don't know if it's real or not. But it's pretty gory. It's got Sid Haig in it, if that entices you, who was also in a pseudo remake of Night of the Living Dead that came out in 3D a few years ago. It's not that good, but it's worth a watch. I mean, Sid Haig, you know, why not? And yeah, it's supposed to be in 3D, but it's really not. It just has the blue and red crossover, but when you try and watch it with the glasses on, I guess unless you have a 3D TV, it's just kind of pointless. And then the Tom Savini remake that came out, I think, in 1989 or 1990. It's pretty good, and it's also got Bill Moseley in it, who's become very iconic in the horror genre. And then there's also another one called Night of the Living Dead. Sorry, Reanimated. I had to make sure I wasn't getting mixed up with the title of this one. But Night of the Living Dead Reanimated, where a bunch of fans have basically remade scenes from Night of the Living Dead using different types of animation, sock puppets, stop motion animation. It's actually really good to watch once or twice. It does kind of get a little bit boring, but it's still interesting to watch and have in your collection. Is pretty cool. And this one here is it's like a cartoon version of Night of the Living Dead, and it's a shorter run than the actual movie. But it's good. I really like it. It's got try and find her name here. I can't think of her name, but anyway, she was Ginger in Ginger Snaps. She plays Barbara in the movie, and it also animates a few scenes that were spoken about in the movie, but that weren't actually in the movie. So, if you're a fan of the film, definitely check this out. This is really good. Oh, please shut up, cats. On my favorite horror movie of all time. Like I said, these are the only two that I'm doing in order. After this, it's just sort of random that I made a big stack and I just started pulling them out at random. But is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Very iconic. Not really much of a massacre for people who haven't seen it, but if you like older horror films, iconic horror films, genre-changing horror films, definitely check this film out. Most people that are fans of it, there's really not much I can say that they don't already know. I got my Steelbox version of it. I got my just generic version of it. And then my Blu-ray DVD combo version of it, 40th anniversary. Now the 50th anniversary version's probably going to come out next year, and so I'll probably have to get a copy of that. But it's decently casted. The acting is surprisingly good for such a low-budget film. Most of the cast has passed away, unfortunately, with the exception, I think, of Terry McMinn. Will you guys get lost? Go growl somewhere else. But, yeah, sorry, Terry McMinn, John Dugan, and Edwin Neal. I think maybe there's a few more. I just can't remember their names right now. So scratch that. There's quite a few still people kicking around that were in the movie. But okay, so moving on. Dog Soldiers. I love this movie. It's a werewolf movie, as you probably figured out by the cover. Werewolves have a very similar look, as you can see them in the back. Kind of remind me of like a more updated version of The Wolves and the Howling. It's got some good scares. There isn't like a transformation scene in it. I think it might have been also a budget issue, but it's practical effects. It's really well done. It's got some good scares. It's believable, and yeah, it's just all in all a good movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely check this one out. You won't be disappointed. I promise you that. This one here, Night of the Creeps. It sort of falls into the zombie direction, I'm trying to say, in the zombie genre, which is zombie comedy, much like Return of the Living Dead. But these ones here are traditional zombies. They actually become zombies because of space aliens and little creepy, slimy, slug-looking things that get into your brain and turn you into a zombie. But it's got some really good one-liners. It's well casted. Tom Atkins is in it, which helps because Tom Atkins is pretty awesome in everything that he's ever been in. So if you've never seen it, check it out. And I think if you have seen it, you'd probably agree with me. This movie's a lot of fun. It's just enjoyable. It's not super scary or anything like that, but it's just well done. I forgot to show some of my leather faces, besides the one that's behind me. But I can't pull out all. I'm going to be here all night again. And I have already did a video about that, so Just a couple of the quick ones I grabbed off the shelf. This one here, Funny Games, Tim Roth, Naomi Watts, who is, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. I mean, seriously, look at her. Yeah, I saw that. You know, but this is actually a remake of, it's done by, I don't know the name of the guys who did it, but done by the original guys. It's basically a shot-for-shot remake in English. The other version was in a different language. I don't remember what the language was, but it's pretty scary in terms of you're sort of putting yourself in their position, and it's just kind of like, oh crap, and it's good. It's really well done. I'm not going to say too much about it, but it's definitely worth a watch. So basically, they're being held hostage by two young guys, and they're more or less being tortured psychologically and physically by them, and it's good. It is good. I forgot something. I will be right back. Okay. Anyway, so the next one is Dracula, the original OG Universal Pictures. I don't know if you can hear that, but the litter box is right beside me. And the one cat, Lemmy, has just peed. And now Gunner came over to investigate, and you're going to start hearing her growl at him because he's disturbing her. But weird cat. But yeah, Bela Lugosi, obviously directed by Tom Browning. It is an excellent movie. I mean, it is a little bit slow, and it does have short run times, only an hour and 15 minutes, but it is definitely worth a watch. I think if it was any longer, it might be a little bit boring, but it's got that creepy atmosphere, that gothic style of horror that Universal Pictures kind of did back in the day, which created the iconic look of pretty much all the well-known monsters, including Dracula. I have one here. I only have a couple Dracula figures, but this is one I've had since I was a teenager, and I like it. It almost kind of resembles Bela Lugosi a little bit, but yeah, definitely check it out. This comes in like the Universal collection of the Monsters, the Legacy collection, as it says down here, and it's got all the sequels in it. That it's got Dracula, and then it also has the Spanish version, which I've only watched once, and it's actually a little bit more interesting. It's a little bit longer, and basically what they did is the American version they had filmed during the day, and the people that were working on the Spanish version would watch and take notes and write down and see how they're doing it, and then improve on that when they would film at night. So it a lot of people consider it the superior film, and that's the reason why. What else is in here? Dracula, Dracula Spanish version, Dracula's daughter, and Son of Dracula, and House of Dracula. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, but that's what's in here. It's got all the Universal. Oops. The Universal Dracula films. Sorry, the video isn't super exciting. I'm trying to not be too loud, but because it is almost 2 o'clock in the morning. I was going to do 2 videos tonight. I might still. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But next one is Nosferatu, which is the first full-length Dracula movie that was put on film, that was made on film, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But no, it's the first full-length feature Dracula movie. Silent, was it 1921? 1920 something? Where is it? I think it's 1921. I'll just go with that. It was made without the permission of the family of Bram Stoker, so the family pressed charges, sued them for copyright reasons. Pressed charges, that sounds weird. Sued them for copyright reasons and wanted every copy destroyed. Luckily, that never happened. I mean, the copyright shit and all that happened, but luckily the movie was never destroyed, and we still get to enjoy it today because it is an excellent movie. I would actually, aside from it being a silent movie, which I do enjoy silent movies, I would actually say it's almost better than this version. It's spookier, it's darker, it's eerier, and they don't make him all gothy and handsome, I guess you could say. He's just creepy. Creepy looking guy. But it's well acted. Rats, I think, I've never read the book, but I think rats do play a big part in the original story, and so there are a lot of rats going on in this movie. And I even have like a cartoony, holy crap, will you guys shut the hell up? But of Nosferatu. The backdrop here, this is from the Toonie Terror collection, which are cartoony kind of versions of horror icons. And comes with a little rat. And the Toonie Terror. Jeez. God, they're just sitting here fighting. It's driving me crazy. But this is also a Toonie Terror guy. And don't get me wrong, I love my cats. I love them. I treat them like they're my own kids. But when they're doing this just for no reason, it gets on my nerves. But, oh well. So after that, and I have two versions of this. I got this one here, which I don't know what the original music would have been, the original score that would have been played in the theaters back then, because they usually had an actual pianist playing while the movie played. And then I got this one here that has Typo Negative's music played in the background, which I find, I can't really watch this one. I find it very distracting because I like Typo Negative, so I start listening to the music and I'm not really paying attention to the movie, so it's kind of weird. And then you got the remake that was made in the 70s, I think. Was it late 70s, like 1978 or something? I'm trying to see if there's a date on the back, but I believe it was 1978. It's an excellent remake. Where did I leave my water? I must have left it. Oh, I left it way over there in the other room. But still has a very similar look to the Max Schreck version. But it's really well done. And rats do play a lot in this film. And after that, you know what? I need my water. I'm back. And I got my water. With that there. And we just got a few more we're going to talk about. Let's see. We'll keep with the classics for a minute. And we'll go with The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. I think this came out in 1919. It's considered one of the first, if not the first, full-length horror movie. Shot in black and white, silent film, obviously. It's got like a really lot of cool sets and everything. It's done in the there's a word for it and it escapes me right now, but it's just a certain style of filming that was done in Europe at the time, where a lot of the shadows are painted on in weird angles, just kind of give you this sort of weird feeling of unease and everything's kind of off. And it was also heavily inspired Rob Zombie's video for Living Dead Girl. It's very much taken from this film, but it's a good movie. Not going to say too much about it, but if you like silent films and you want to look at classic films, like very classic films, like the movie's over 100 years old now, definitely give it a check. Check it out at least once, you know. And there's a sort of pseudo remake, but not really. It sort of does its own thing. And if you know the song "Get Down My Glove," the cover version by 9 Inch Nails, the opening sample is actually from this film. It's not a bad movie. It really has nothing to do with that one. I just thought I'd pull it out just to say, hey, look what I got this too. But this is actually a pretty good movie too, just to watch. And then there was another remake that was done in the early 2000s, I believe. And it's actually bought this before I bought this thinking it was the original, and then I put it in. I'm like, the hell is this? But after I realized what it was and what they were doing, I actually had a lot more appreciation for it. And what they did is they remade and digitally used a lot of the original sets, some of them digital, some of them they made themselves, and just kind of remade the movie. Only I believe it actually does have dialogue in it, but it's good. It's still done in black and white, and definitely check it out. You can probably find it online somewhere. Oh, look that. This was actually done by accident, but when I was holding it, I mean. But yeah, definitely give it give it a watch at least once. It's pretty good if you're a big fan, or if you enjoy, not even a big fan, but if you enjoy the original as I do, check it out. Now I got two more on this list. Carrie. I love this movie. This is one movie I can watch over and over again. It terrified the hell out of me when I was a kid and I saw it, and it still holds up today. It's out of the two remakes, one was a miniseries, came out I think in 1998, and then the new one that just came out a couple years ago. If you've never seen any of them, go with this one. It's just excellent. Sissy Spacek, John Travolta, young John Travolta. I don't know what else can I really say about it. It's Brian De Palma. I had to double check because I knew who it was, but the name wasn't coming. Doing a horror film, he does a lot. He does all kinds of stuff anyway. Scarface, just as an example, to show his range. But this is definitely a good movie. It's frightening. It's spooky, and it's got a couple funny scenes in it that I think just sort of are out of place. But aside from that, definitely check this movie out if you haven't already. And those who have seen it and love horror, they already know this is an excellent movie based on the Stephen King novel. I think it was actually his first full novel that he wrote. And interestingly enough, when he started writing it, he got pissed off about it, threw it in the garbage, and I think his wife pulled it out, read it, and said, "No, make this. It's going to be good." And now it's become iconic. And the last one I'm going to talk about is the Amityville Horror. This is the box set, the original trilogy, and the reason I pulled them all out is there's a reason that I'll get to in a second, but the original film, based on the novel, which is based on supposedly a true story. Now, I know it's based on the murders done by I always know the name until I need to know the name, you know what I mean? But a family was killed in the house, and then the people came in, bought the house, and supposedly all these spooky things happened, which I call bullshit on. But it is a good movie for its time. It's spooky when it needs to be spooky. But it's I don't know, not much more to say about that. Just check it out. It's a good movie. And sort of rushing a bit because I'm at 22 minutes and I didn't mean to be this long. Amityville, DeFeo, that's it. The DeFeo family were the ones that were murdered. But Amityville Horror 2, The Possession, is still a decent movie. It's a prequel to the other one. It's supposed to be based on the DeFeo family, but they use a different name, and you got the actor, what's his name, Burt Young, who plays the dude from, well, I'm not remembering any of the characters' names, but from the Rocky movies. Paulie, that's who it is. And but it's good. It's not great, but it's worth a watch. And where is it? Amityville 3D. It's still cheesy, but I actually like this better than the second one. And I think I actually saw this before any of the other ones when I was a lot younger. It's in 3D, so when you watch it, obviously it's going to not be in 3D when you watch it at home anymore, so a lot of things are out of place. You got a lot of this weird stuff right wiggling around in your face, but it's still a pretty good movie. It's got some spooky parts, and it's alright. And then it comes with this fake documentary called Amityville Confidential, which it's kind of like how the Blair Witch Project had documentaries with it that weren't real just to kind of hype the movie. Well, this came out after just to add to the box set, and it's pretty interesting. Now, one thing I will talk about for people that watch top 10 ghost videos and shit like that, which I do watch, some of them are entertaining. There's one picture that always comes up, and it's a little spooky ghost boy from the Amityville house. It's from this movie. It's not a real picture. I just want to get that out now. It's not a real, like, it's a real picture, but it's not a real ghost. It's somebody's kid on set or whatever, when they're filming the documentary, and they just snapped a picture and altered it a little to make it look spooky. And I'll tell you why. Number one, that was filmed in the house the movie was filmed in, not in the house where the actual murders took place, because the murders, even though when you look it up online, it always shows the Amityville house from the movie. The murders actually took place in a completely different house, because it would honestly be in disgusting bad taste to actually film a full-length Hollywood movie in the actual house, and I don't think that would have happened anyway. And also, the house itself was considerably smaller, because there was a documentary, an actual documentary on years even before YouTube and video and the internet was huge, that I actually did see on the television, and it talked about all that. But anyway, this video is running a lot longer than I expected, so I'm just going to cut it off there. And if you watched through the whole thing, thank you so much. And please subscribe if you haven't already, or I will get you. You don't talk. Oh, yeah. But anyway. Yeah, if you want to subscribe, that'd be great. And I guess that's all for now, because it's getting late. So until the next one, bye.